All right, hey guys, Josh Jordan here, and I've also got Tremon in San Antonio, Texas with us today. Tremon, go ahead and introduce yourself to everyone listening in and tell us a little bit about your background and sales background.
Josh, my name's Tremon. I'm originally from Houston. I went to school over in San Antonio, graduated in public relations and business administration. My work history really stems from a number of different marketing and sales companies. I was mostly doing B2C, business consumer, not too large of deals. And from there, I worked with a number of different companies in logistics over to different oil and gas. So one of the things that I just always learned was just pretty much working with in the sales environment, trying to get to bigger and better opportunities and bigger, better deals.
Yep.
So yeah, most of my work history has usually just been tech B2C.
And how many years is that you've been in sales prior to pre-hired?
I was traditionally probably about 10 years altogether. So after I graduated,
So you're no stranger to sales. You've been around the block.
Not at all. Most of it was B2C until I got this recent position. And so I've been in and out pretty much, learning different tactics, learning different strategies. And so I figured I knew it all pretty much.
You know what? And I don't blame you because I get a lot of seasoned sales professionals. About 70% of the people in the program have a lot of experience. The other 30% are fresh, have no sales experience. So go ahead and tell us though, Tremon, like, why does a guy like you who's been through so many trainings or you've seen it all, or at least you think you've seen it all, right? At this point, why in the world would you even consider pre-hired? And when you found us, what were you really thinking and feeling? Because you already have 10 years of experience in various industries, B2C, and then a few years here and there in different industries. So what were you thinking when you found pre-hired?
Essentially, what was the unique proposition that pre-hired offered? I was actually just kind of looking for a different opportunity, and I didn't really see anything on the marketplace that even compared to what you were offering at the moment. So I really kind of gravitated to it, just piqued my interest as far as like, well, what does Joshua know that I don't know? And what do all these people that have gone through the program, what are they learning that I should have learned a long time ago?
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. So obviously you felt like you wanted to know it and you believed that there was more out there than beyond what you already knew. So you took the lead, signed up for the program. Let everyone know, what was your experience like going through the program?
Oh, the experience was great. I was obviously a lot skeptical going into it because I'd never done a sales program before, especially, your company usually pays for this, but this was something that I kind of went off on my own.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so free, like it's so free flowing, great material to learn. And a lot of the things I just really had no knowledge of before. And so it was almost just like getting cheat codes, honestly, to a game that you thought you knew. And then it just helped out with the process easier to where you're able to get to the boss or the job you wanted and quicker. So
I love that you said that because we've used that in some of our ads before, cheat codes for a sales career in tech, but you're the first person who's actually said, like, that's what it felt like. So I'm glad that someone else thought, because I came up with that. I'm like, hey, this is like cheat codes for a career in tech. But no one else has ever said that on one of these interviews. I'm glad that you actually said it, because that's what it does feel like when you get this, right? So all right, you went through the program, you love the experience, you love, it covers the tools, the skills, the workflows, and then you use this science-based sales system to pretty much just put in time and then spit out meetings and interviews for yourself. Tell us what getting hired was like after you completed the program, which, by the way, how long did it take you to complete the program? Because it only takes 40, 50 hours, but you chose to complete it over how many weeks, or was it, how many weeks was that? I forgot.
Yeah, so the great thing about the program is it's kind of like work your own pace.
Yep.
So since I started, I think it took me about a week and a half to 2 weeks.
Yep.
And then I actually wanted to go back over it that next week after, just to kind of make sure that a lot of the information was ingrained.
Yep.
I probably should tell you this before. I actually got a ton of interviews scheduled like during that second week after I finished, but I didn't get to finish the exact course.
Yep.
So you can hold it against me that I didn't finish the course, but a lot of it was just because I was getting just overwhelmed with a lot of responses. from different companies, different people in these organizations that I didn't know I could reach. So it was probably like a month process for me to actually get to the second and third level of some of these interviews,
Yep.
and then find myself a position.
Yeah, and Tremon, I'm glad you brought that up, because I'm completely fine, because you're not alone, man. A lot of people in our program are like, oh my gosh, I don't really need too much support, because over your shoulder, like, do this, do that, wait this many days, wait this many hours, like then make a call, use email, use social. It builds a system for yourself. So it's like, you don't really need the help, but it's nice to have it. So to anyone watching this, we have, I would say around I would say 3 to 5 people of all our members just go ahead and do this on their own. Up to 50% of people are actually like you, man. Like, they're just, they decide not to get certified first. They just like, oh, I'm going to go ahead and do this now. And so I just tell people that you can do that. Disclaimer, though, if you make mistakes and aren't following the system and you've made some errors and we don't know about it and we can't help you, there's no way for us to know that. So you've basically wasted some first impressions on maybe your top companies if you're doing outreach. So it's just risky. So I tell everyone, if you let us see it, we're going to make sure you don't blow your chances with your top companies. But again, a lot of salespeople that have been doing this like yourself, you've been doing sales for almost around 10 years. It's kind of like, all right, I got this. Once you get the information, you're like, I'll go and I'll contact, the team if I want to just practice like interviewing before the final interviews. Like, oh, I'm going to ask, run this by Josh, run this by one of the trainers and get support. And that's completely fine. So but I wanted to say that if you don't, turn in the materials for certification, we can't tell you, give you recommendations on what to do better, what you need to get better. But in your case, Tremon, it didn't matter. So you were getting an opportunity way before you finished the program. And you landed on, we'll go ahead and do a blurb right now for the company that you're at and the position that's all about.
Yeah, well, the good thing about it was just having options. That's one of the things that I kind of found different with this
Tremon, I just lost your audio for the last 5 seconds. You said one of the best parts about is options. What was after that?
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, one of the best things was essentially having options. Whenever these companies are reaching back to you, it just feels, it feels surreal almost, because traditionally in my years before, it was me reaching out to all these companies and me hearing back from like 1 or 2, and then not necessarily having enough options to where whenever you're getting 4 or 5 emails to where you're setting up meetings and setting up calls every day, and then you're like, all right, well, instead of me going with this one option, now I have 2 or 3 options, 4 or 5, to where I really want to pick the company that gives me the best chance to succeed, the best proposition, and the one I can actually see myself in. So that was one. Yeah, that was just that was the coolest thing about this for sure. Was just, having options and actually finding a good fit for the company that you want to see yourself in.
Yeah, and you know what? That's something I hear all the time. And when you say options, that's I couldn't put it better than myself. That's people say when they go through the program, I love that I have options now. I love that I have confidence. Like it just feels incredible to know that I can build a sales funnel on my own. And not only that, I can get a meeting or interview with people that I want to talk to. So when you have that ability and that freedom, it brings confidence, because you know your abilities, and you know how to target people that you want to be in a relationship, whether it's a sales relationship, whether it's an employment relationship, and it gives you confidence and clarity of how to do that. And so I think that that's the best thing is if for some reason in 6 months, 12 months, hopefully you love your new role, but if you don't, you know how to go out and get as many meetings as you want, to talk to as many sales managers you want to get the next level up if your current company's not going to keep you happy and promote you, So that's something that I hear over and over and over. And in fact, I got to mention this. I talked to someone just a few weeks ago where we talked on a call about pre-hired, and I actually asked them some questions about what they were currently doing and whether or not they would be a fit for pre-hired. And I actually told them this. I said, I don't remember the person's name off the top of my head, but let's just say Dan. I'll use the name Dan. So Dan, here's what I see. I think that it's possible for you to do this on your own. You're a smart guy. You've been in some inside sales in other industries before. You still don't know a lot of the technical aspects. You don't know a lot of the workflows, but I think you could do it. I said, you have a strong chance of doing it, but I can't make any guarantees. But here's what I will tell you. If you go out and try this on your own, best case scenario is you do get the job and you get an offer. But here's the thing that maybe you're not thinking about. Number one is because you don't know these other things that we could train you on in just a few weeks, and you know how to do these. You're now going to be taking a low offer. There's no way they can offer you an extra $10,000 or $20,000, or in your case, an extra $10,000 or $15,000 base for Dan, because you're going to have to be trained in all these things, and so you have no negotiation power because you don't know these things yet. So they're looking at it as like you're coming in at a lower level. Your promotion track's going to be slower because again, you're not coming off like with a super fast kick-started launch because you know all this stuff. You're learning everything as a junior rep from the ground up, knowing nothing. So not only is it risky or higher for them, you've got to learn all this stuff on your own. And so instead of being the top performer of the team or being set up to be this top performer and already negotiated for a higher base, better perks, things like that, like a promotional track that you can actually talk about in advance because you know exactly where you want to be because you understand how this whole thing works, you're going to miss out on all that stuff. And we talked about it, and he said, that's worth the risk. And I said, that's fine. I'm glad that you understand that's what you're okay with. And sure enough, he got the job. He got the job he wanted. But when we talked about what he was offered, I was like, yeah, you got lowballed, man, because you're having to learn everything else. And so I checked back in with him. And right now he is struggling, but I think he's going to make it. He's really going to make it, but he's also not the top performer. So that's the thing about this I feel is awesome is, again, the confidence and clarity it brings in knowing the sales funnel. And then you can demand higher base salary and a faster promotion track because you know all this stuff. Anyways, you said it, so I had to tag that, of course. All right, so Tremon, getting back on track, you're now at Smart Biz Loans. You're an account executive, so you're able to actually start in at that level. And, man, there's a lot of people that's been watching us for like since we started back last year. They've been following us, reading our emails, looking at all these videos, maybe even watching this video, and they've still yet to pull the trigger. I don't know if it's because they doubt us, the program, they doubt themselves, but what would you say to someone who's on the fence, who's a little bit nervous when they think about what we're doing as far as the opportunity they could have if they were to just make a decision to do something like this? What would you say to someone who's on the fence still?
Yeah, man, it's the right program for everybody. I mean, you got to buy into the system, but everything kind of we've been talking about with just the confidence, actually like getting in front of these companies and actually having options. I think it was the best choice for me as far as just understanding just better processes, actually learning the full cycle, learning the full system. Because almost like what the gentleman you were mentioning earlier, you think you know everything, but chances are, I mean, there's something new to learn and there's just a way better way of doing it. And I don't think it would have happened as easier. And I don't think it would happen, as quick unless I did pre-hired. So as much as like I pride myself in having 10 years of experience, there's so much I learned from the program that helped me find this role. And then, later on, say for instance, I do want to jump into software sales or something else, I still have everything I want from the program to find that position if I need to.
Tremon, I love how you ended it like that. Is you've got all this years of experience, but you said that I'm never, I don't think I've known too much where there's not stuff still out there that I can learn, and I think that's the best attitude to have, and that's why I think you're going to go far as you're starting this new career path in tech sales. And to anyone watching this, I'll even add to that. I still buy courses and study from other experts out there. Like, I'm not done learning. Because once I find stuff that's working in the market right now, if I talk to sales managers, they're running their sales team a certain way, they're trying these new tactics with artificial intelligence or with video in their sales funnel, I'm going to go ahead and get the data on that. And if I feel like that's something worth us starting to focus on as a part of the sales system, I'm going to add that. Because again, like, I'm not beyond learning either, man. Like, I'm at 15 years about now in sales, but it's only in the last 5 or 6 years really that I've been learning more about the operations, the full funnel, and testing little things. So I love that that's your attitude. And that's really the attitude we're looking for anyone that wants to come into the program. This is not a one-time thing. This is a lifetime mindset that you're deciding to take on, is that I don't know everything, and that if I could just get one or two things that maybe I'm missing, I can get to the next level. And I promise you, if you take this small step, this will just be the first step of many, because pre-hired is not going to get you to $1 million. This will get you a six-figure sales career. But the people that take this attitude that you've got, Tremon, you'll go far, because pretty much you're just going to decide what you want to do, and you're going to keep learning and learning. And we're going to keep updating the course. So for you guys listening, we'll keep getting more material. But even beyond our course, you'll keep learning things that you want to get good at. And that's the attitude you should have. So Tremon,
Yeah.
thank you so much for sharing your story with everyone today.
Yeah, no problem, Josh. I appreciate everything. I think you've got a phenomenal product on the market. I really hope everybody, takes a step further and actually joins, just because it's really needed in the marketplace, especially for people in sales trying to get into a new industry.
All right. Thanks, man.